And so now we're living in this culture in which God is not even mentioned. He's definitely not feared. Where those who believe in God are treated as though they were some sort of prehistoric imbecile. Young people, please understand, apart from some extraordinary act of mercy, a storm is coming. Unlike anything any of you, unlike anything I have ever seen. Do you want to talk about counting the cost? Let's go to Jeremiah for a moment. Chapter 12, verse 5. Now Jeremiah is complaining. I understand this well. I shamefully, even in my old years, I do the same. The attempt to live a righteous life is extremely difficult when you're behind enemy lines in a world that is under the power of the evil one. But look what he tells Jeremiah. If you have run with footmen and they have tired you out, then how can you compete with horses? If you fall down in a land of peace, how will you do in the thicket of the Jordan? What is he saying? He's saying, Jeremiah, this is only chapter 12. If you think you've suffered, buckle up. You haven't even begun to suffer. If these little afflictions at this moment are getting you off keel, causing you to grumble, weep and moan, how will you stand when the real battle starts? Now, I praise God for most of you. Many of you were raised in godly families with fathers and mothers who fear the Lord and who loved you. And yet you have to acknowledge your Romans 7 battle with sin sometimes has been tremendous. Your ingratitude, your moping, your moaning, the idolatry, right, of unmet expectations. What's it going to be like when you can neither buy or sell? What's it going to be like when you are cast out of society? What's it going to be like when you are slandered and accused and abused? What's it going to be like when you have to make a choice between whether you fit in or whether you follow Christ? Or let's go even further, whether you live or follow Christ. Or even worse, because there's something worse than death. It's a life of suffering. But your life will be nothing but suffering. Will you bail? If you're struggling now, if you're on the line now, if sometimes you're in and sometimes you're out now in these calm waters, what is it going to be like when all of a sudden, for lack of a better phrase, all hell breaks loose? These are the worst of times. These are the best of times. Again, as a first century paganism approaches, as a first century persecution approaches, the opportunity to live like first century Christians approach. And know this, many of your brethren are already suffering. It's part of what Heart Cry does. We're constantly working in countries trying to get Christians out of certain places, out of jail, out of that border, across another, into safety, in a safe house, hide them, everything. We have brethren all over the globe. And so don't think it unusual that I'm telling you you will suffer. It's unusual that you haven't.